The following is a presentation of the Hello Chicago Network.
Hello, Chicago Network is on the air. Hello, everybody. I'm Ryan Yanishadis, and it's time to focus for this Monday, April the 6th. Happy 17th birthday to my niece, Bristol. Hope you have a great day. As always, where'd the time go? I feel like yesterday. She was born on opening day, 2009, and now it's 2026. God, good Lord. But anyway, hope everyone had a great week and hope everyone had a great Easter. I did a little brunch thing yesterday. Also, personal news announced my fiance and I's wedding. We get married now in 364 days in the high roller Ferris wheel in Las Vegas. We made it official Valentine's Day weekend. We've met with a wedding planner, invitations out. Everyone's gotten them and been notified. So it's pretty real. And now the next 364 days, we figure out who's going to be there, the stress of the destination wedding. We're going to Vegas in a couple weeks. We're going to get our first chance to see the Ferris wheel. So all that exciting stuff. So I'm sure I'll have more stuff on that as well on here, but that's exciting to finally publicly announce that. I'm sure the stress you will see on my face over the next 364 days, but until then, let's focus on the Chicago Blackhawks to kick it off here. Let's start this thing off first with the talk about how the week that was. Let's take a look. And this is the Blackhawks. So last Tuesday got a win and an overtime loss against the Winnipeg Jets 4-3. Thursday get a win over the Edmonton Oilers 3-1, and then they win against the Seattle Kraken, which it seems like that's the team. If there's a team the Chicago Blackhawks can have dominated this year, it is the Seattle Kraken. So a great job there to be able to get those 3 wins. And then and by the way, I have that correction. They lost to the Oilers 3-1. So I figured, because when I was doing the stats for the records, wasn't panning out right. So yes, the Oilers won 3-1. My apologies. And then they beat the Kraken 4-2. So look at these stats right here. We continue to talk about this. This is pretty much the high point of what we've got I think we've got 2 or 3 more weeks of Blackhawks hockey, and then we start to focus on the 26-27 season. But a year ago today, this is on April 6th, they were 22, 45, and 10, 54 points. This year, right there, 28, 35, and 14, 70 points. So and it continues to be around there. It's about a 16 point improvement. Now, you look at the standings this year. If you do that again next year, if you add another 16 points to that 70, 86 points has you tied or in the wild card. That's how awesome. I think that's great for this Blackhawk team. So that's why I like to keep track of this, because if this is the pace the Blackhawks are going to be on in 2020, if the pace they're going to be on is that they're going, they improve by 16 points this year to 16 points next year. They're at 70 right now. 16 points. This team is competing for a wild card next year, and that is what you want to see. You want us to be scoreboard watching. We haven't been able to do that on Hello Chicago Network with the Blackhawks. So hopefully that'll be the case, but a great job. So they do get 3 points out of a possible 6 again in the stretch. And again, I love that. I mean, they're going to finish the season under 500, but it's going to be way less. There are 23 games under 500 at this point last year. They're less than 10. Great job by the Blackhawks, I think, overall. Maybe a coaching change. We'll see what happens next. But you got to start seeing potential in Connor in this team and not wasting the career of Connor Bedard. So that is the Blackhawks. And now let's go to the Bulls.
The following is a presentation of the Hello Chicago Network.
Oh, the Chicago Bulls. Another season we're counting down and can't wait to see finally end, and that will happen in a few weeks as well. They're not going to have their reserve spot in the play-in tournament, so I'll be able to actually enjoy my vacation this year, because last year Bulls lost by 40. Well, I didn't really wreck it because they only were in it for like a half a quarter. But anyway, let's take a look now and see what the Bulls are, what they did over the last week. They lose to the Spurs 129-114. They lose to the Pacers, get absolutely trounced by a team that's worse than them, 145-126. Friday, they lost to the Knicks, a team that's contending for an NBA championship, lost by 40. So on Wednesday and Friday combined, the Bulls lost by, 20. So 19-4, so about 60 points. And then Sunday they lose to the Suns, which I've always been a fan of the Phoenix Suns, but it don't look like they're going to be a playoff threat as of or a championship contender. They had their opportunities, but they lose to them 120-110. And then you'll see right there, the draft lottery is Sunday. I thought they said Sunday, May 10th, but that's not even, is that even the right day? Sunday, May 10th is the draft lottery. And the Bulls will be in it. They're currently projected for the 9th pick, and that's Braden Burries, which I was a fan of Braden Burries. I still am, but he didn't show up, and neither did Arizona. And now I have to do a bet, and we might have to change the bet, but that'll be on crossover, and we'll talk about that more tomorrow on when we talk NCAA championship game that's later tonight. Also, they have Portland's 15th pick, which is a currently University of Kentucky's power forward Shaden Quintons. So we'll see what happens. Being able to see Braden Burries, I'd love to see a point guard work. And then you got with Modest Buzelis and Josh Giddey. So we'll see if that happens. We'll see if they stay in that realm. But I'm a fan of that, and we'll see if they continue to tank over the last. They only got like less than 10 games left. So hopefully we'll see the Blackhawks the Blackhawks win, and then the Bulls continue to tank. And then next year we'll pretty much be talking tankathon as well. But now another interesting question is going to be is what happens with Billy Donovan, because a lot of people thought he was going to the University of North Carolina, go back to college. Well, that was just announced hours ago that Mike Malone, the head coach of the Denver Nuggets, formerly who won a championship there, I think he's been doing media, he's going to be the head coach of North Carolina, so that spot's gone. So will Billy Donovan be as eager to get out of Chicago, or is he going to stay around? Because if they're going to do a full rebuild and he's not fully invested, and he's already been through, it feels like he's been through like 3 of these rebuilds already. So we'll see what he does there. But the Bulls just continue to lose, and I think that's all you can do get a better draft pick. And Stacey King said something interesting on his podcast. He goes, how about the NBA helps the Bulls this year in the lottery like they helped the Dallas? Because Dallas wasn't the best team or wasn't the worst team, and they got the number 1 pick and got Cooper Kupp. Or not Cooper Kupp. I can't think of his name, but the guy that's on Dallas now. But anyway, so I think that's so will the Bulls get a chance to be will they get one of the Boozer kids? We'll find out. Again, that is May 10th. Will be the draft lottery, and the draft sometime in June, I believe. So that'll be fun. That'll be exciting. And that's what you have to look forward to in the Bulls. So that's that. Don't forget to like this video if you like what you hear. Subscribe to the Hello Chicago Network YouTube channel. Every Monday through Thursday, we're focusing mostly on Chicago sports. We'll be unfocused tomorrow as the NCAA championship is tonight. And then we'll have soul shows. Cubs and White Sox getting their own shows, but we're going to show you the schedule after this. And also, don't forget, comment below your thoughts. I know it's hard this time of year to get into Bulls and Blackhawks when they're not good, but just try to stay positive. And then baseball season, I'll give you my full takes on both those teams, as they'll both have separate shows. So that'll be coming up later this week as well. So everyone have a great week. Don't forget this show. We'll have more talk about it, but this show we'll be doing some Vegas stuff in 2 weeks. Next week will be all sports as well. So just stay here, but we'll have stuff for you. Don't you worry. So everyone have a great week. And I'm Ryan Yadashatis from the Hello Chicago Network. We're the focus of Chicago sports. Enjoy now starting lineup for this week.